Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD. It's currently November of 2020. This has been quite the eventful month for most of us, and in less exciting news, the channel is now 9 months old. In this month's YouTube creator update, I'm going to talk about filming and recording sort of audio and video quality. I know that none of you come here for outstanding audio or video quality, so thank you for coming back regardless of the quality. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about the month 9 and lifetime analytics, so stay tuned. First, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. It really does mean a lot to me. If you want to help me get the channel to grow, the best way is for you to interact on these videos. So go ahead and hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel and leave comments down below. I really do appreciate hearing all of your thoughts, and I think some of you have had some wonderful suggestions in the past month or so, so thank you so much for commenting, especially those of you who normally don't comment on videos. I know how uncomfortable it can be. I was definitely that person a couple of years ago, so I really appreciate you stepping outside of your comfort zone. Let's go ahead and talk about filming. I've touched on this briefly before, pretty early on in one of these month 2, maybe 1 or 3 creator updates. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but basically I didn't buy anything specifically to start the YouTube channel. A lot of people film vlogs simply on their phone. I think that's a great option for most people. It's not really a great option for me because I have an iPhone SE, like the original SE. So back when the iPhone 6s, I think, came out, not the new SE when they released the 10s or so. This is my phone. It's little. The camera is not great. I just don't think that it probably is great for filming on. So I have not been filming on my phone. For the most part, I've been filming on this Nikon Coolpix. I did buy just this little tripod stand. I think it was 30 bucks or so. It wasn't a big deal. And yeah, so for the most part, this is what I film on. This camera is, I think, 5 years old. And actually, I would say I generally haven't been using it before starting this vlog because pretty soon after my partner and I got this camera, they actually dropped it. And the lens is fine and it seems to work okay most of the time, but there's definitely something loose on the inside. Sometimes when you turn the wheel for different selections, it just doesn't change. Sometimes the focus is really bad, things like that. And so I've definitely noticed in a few of my videos that the focus goes in and out, and it is starting to drive me a little bit wild. I know it's really not important that my face is in focus if I'm just delivering information because you can hear it verbally, and then the captions I correct to make sure that that information is correct. And then I usually put information on the screen in text for you to see as well. But it is annoying, and I am starting to think more and more about maybe replacing this camera. 5 or so years ago, after that Nikon camera got dropped, we actually did purchase another camera pretty soon after. I'm really just the kind of person that likes to have a good point and shoot for sporting events, for concerts, and vacations. So I also own this Canon PowerShot SX720HS model. I actually prefer this camera to the Nikon quite a lot, not for technical reasons, really just look and feel and the way that the functions work and the intuitiveness of the menus, etc. But something happened sometime last year. I can't really say when. I have no recollection of this, but I'm pretty sure that the lens got scratched or something. Every time I've taken footage on it since November or so of last year, maybe a little bit earlier, there's just this blur in sort of the upper left-hand corner. I'll put some footage in now for you to see. And it's for literally everything. And I've cleaned the lens a ton, so it's not just dust. I don't know how much it would cost to replace a lens or fix a lens, but I am guessing kind of a lot. Prior to 2020 ending up the way it did with the global pandemic, we did have several vacations on slot, and so I had assumed that I would buy a new point and shoot camera to take on those vacations. Since those vacations got canceled, that just hasn't happened. I really didn't have any impetus to spend, $400 on a new point and shoot camera. But the vlog is some amount of impetus, and honestly, I will still use the point and shoot camera whenever we do go back on vacation again, so I am considering it. That being said, in the past, I have always prioritized cameras with a ton of optical zoom. So I think these cameras have a 30 to 40x optical zoom. These are meant to be point and shoot cameras you can keep in your pocket for people like me, people who casually take pictures on vacation, but want to be able to zoom in quite a lot. This is important to me because I really like appreciating architecture, especially. And then for sporting events and concerts, obviously, if you're further away, you can zoom in quite a lot to still get some really great pictures. They also do have an extra 2 to 4x digital zoom on top of that optical zoom. So you're talking, 80x sharpness in zoom. The zoom feature is something I really value in a camera, but you're not going to find cameras that are great for vlogging with that kind of zoom, at least not in my budget and not to my knowledge. For example, on these cameras, you can't hook in an external mic. That's something that's very common for vlogging. Since it has been 5 years or so, though, there are new models of these cameras, and those do have an articulating screen. Right now, the screens that I have are just solid. They're just on the back. That obviously makes filming my face a little bit hard. I always have to situate a mirror behind the camera to make sure that I'm in frame. So if I did buy a new camera, a new version of one of these cameras, it would have a screen, I think, that flips up in order for me to be able to just set it up, flip the screen up, and then I would be able to see if I was in frame without the extra work. So that's nice. Point and shoot cameras I'm considering that have large optical zoom. The Canon PowerShot SX740, so this is the newer version of the Canon that I have. This is the camera I like the most. And then I've also seen really good reviews for the Panasonic Lumix ZS780. These are both around $400 cameras. Again, they are point and shoot with high optical zoom, and then they don't have that external mic port. In doing camera research, I also started looking at cameras that are really advertised for vlogging. There is a wide range of prices for these, but the ones that get the best reviews tend to be around $700 or more. I'm definitely not serious enough about this to get anything with an external lens, so I just threw those out right away. Like I'm not buying an external lens. It's just not the kind of person that I am. I would love to have an external mic though, which is sort of why I started considering this. However, at least for all of the vlogging cameras I was looking at sort of in my price range, ideally not more than $500, but I did entertain looking at a few in the $700 to $800 range. The optical zoom on them is bad. It's like, 8x or 12x. In a perfect world, I would be able to just buy one camera that had 30 to 40x optical zoom with additional 2 to 4x digital zoom on top of that, an articulating screen, very fast focus, which is great for vlogging, and then also that external mic port. However, at least in my price range, it doesn't look like that exists. If you know of a camera that does fulfill all of these needs, please do let me know in the comments down below. Right now, I don't really want to buy two separate cameras, one for having as a camera in the way that I enjoy and one for having specifically as vlogging. While I would love that super fast focus, it's just not necessary, I don't think, at this point in my life. My next Walt Disney World trip isn't planned for almost a year, and even when I go, I don't know if I'm going to vlog in the normal sense. Certainly, I'll take some footage, and of course, I'll take a ton of pictures just because that's what I like to do. But am I going to walk around with the camera facing me and talking to the camera and reviewing all of the food and reviewing all of the rides, etc.? I don't know. Like, it just feels unnatural to me. Vacation really is a time for me to unwind, and I think that perhaps vlogging in the traditional style might just add more stress for me. It's hard to say right now because I really don't know, but do I want to buy a vlogging specific camera for something like that? Oh, probably not for $800. So that's where I'm at with filming equipment. I know that the focus has been bad in several videos, so thank you for being patient with me. And currently I'm actually filming on a webcam. I'm testing this out to see what the quality looks like. This is essentially for audio considerations. So like I said, the cameras I have been filming on don't have external audio, so I do have to project my voice. Projecting my voice does feel kind of natural to me though. It's not a change I made specifically for the vlog because I'm presenting information heavy content that just feels normal to me. Like when I go to conferences for work or I have presentations for work or similar, that's how I talk. This is in stark contrast to something very conversational, like you heard with the conversation between Kamila and I, the Disney travel agent who I recently interviewed for the channel. I do want to mix it up a little bit, but filming 6+ feet away from my camera that doesn't have an external mic does make me feel like I will have to project my voice and it can't be conversational like that in any way. Right now I'm recording on the webcam, so I'm actually sitting in front of my computer, and then you can probably see I have this mic in front of me. This is also what I use when I talk to Kamila. The audio quality that comes out of this mic is ridiculously better than what comes out of the camera. The audio that I get from normal filming, I do clean up considerably using a noise reduction tool that's free, and then I end up still even taking little bits and chunks out from background noise. This mic only picks up noise that's within like 6 to 10 inches of it, so it's really not picking up any kind of background. It just sounds so much better. I definitely understand that the audio coming out of this mic is way better than audio coming out of my camera from general filming. So I'm now testing out to see, well, if I use this mic with this webcam, is the video quality good enough? I'm hopeful that the answer is yes, and then maybe I can start sort of filming like this. This mic wouldn't work in my typical setup where I am sitting 6+ feet away from my point and shoot camera recording, because you do have to be super close to this mic, and it is recording audio on my laptop. So it also has to get plugged in through USB to my laptop. Just given my space constraints and everything, making that work is not super possible in the place where I normally film. But hopefully this will be a good alternative where the video quality doesn't necessarily suffer any, since it wasn't super high to begin with, and then maybe the audio will be even better. So potentially I don't even need to worry too much about vlogging considerations for cameras, at least while I'm at home, and then it really comes down to thinking about, am I going to vlog when I go on trips? If you vlog, let me know how you handle this, sort of like what equipment you use, what camera you use. Do you sacrifice optical zoom in order for better vlogging things like an external mic or faster focus? And if you don't vlog, I mean, let me know what you think about the audio and video quality. I know it's been bad. Let me know what you think you would prefer, all of that stuff. And regardless of if you do or do not vlog, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts about how you think you would handle vlogging in the traditional style for the first time on a vacation, like on a trip to Walt Disney World. I'm kind of wondering if my introverted self is just getting in the way, and it's really not that bad at all. All right, let's move on to some analytics. So it is month 9. I pulled these analytics from October 10th to November 10th. This is the first month where I was uploading significantly less. Instead of every 4 days, it was basically every Wednesday, and then with just the occasional other video peppered in. So this month I got 1,281 views from 643 unique viewers. This resulted in 121.2 hours of watch time. The average view duration was 5 minutes 40 seconds, which resulted in an average viewed percentage of 43.4%. I got over 18,000 total impressions, with over 18% of those being from YouTube recommending my content. 55% of the watch time was from folks who are not subscribed, and this month we got 18 new subscribers. Somewhat unsurprisingly to me, because I am uploading less, a lot of these did dip from last month, but a lot of these metrics didn't dip nearly as much as I thought they might, honestly, which I'm pretty pleased about. I got about 50 less views than last month, but I actually had more unique viewers. Watch time was down by about 9 total hours in the month, which isn't great, but it's also not nearly as bad as it could have been. Average view duration dropped about 10 seconds or so, but I don't think that is really affected at all by the number of uploads. It's really how long people are watching each video, so it just means the content this month was slightly less engaging. Last month, I got 26 new subscribers. This month was 18, so that did drop a little bit. That being said, I think I'm still totally fine with this metric being slower than I think other channels. I'm trying really hard not to compare myself, even though it is really, really hard. If I can get a new subscriber roughly every other day, frankly, I think that's a victory, so I'm good with that. Last month, the watch time from those not subscribed was 61% or so, and this month it was 55%. So I think that's still nice that that's heading in the right direction, where at least the people who are subscribed seem to be watching my content more, or people who are watching my content that maybe weren't subscribed before, maybe are subscribed now. It's really hard to say, that's very speculative, but I do know that you want that number to go down. So in this case, a lesser number, 55% compared to 61%, actually represents an improvement. Moving on to lifetime stats for the channel. We are now at over 6,100 views, so I'm really happy about that. This time last month, we were still under 5,000, so hooray! And in total, we're over 550 watch hours. Average view duration increased a little bit up to 5 minutes and 24 seconds this month. The average view percent did drop a percent or so, though, down to around 45.8%. I have almost 75,000 impressions on the lifetime of the channel, which is kind of wild to me. I'm really happy about that. And around 19% of those are from YouTube recommending my content. Watch time from those not subscribed lifetime of the channel did drop also, so now we are down to around 65%. Overall, the channel is at 184 subscribers. So considering how much less I am uploading now, I am actually really happy with these stats overall. The one metric that hasn't really changed in the past few months that's starting to stand out to me is those impressions coming from YouTube. So I'm hovering around 19 or 20% for the most part. It would be really nice if the YouTube algorithm promoted me a little bit more, but all of that really comes down to my viewers and how much they interact. So I might be a little pushier in the future about getting folks to like and comment and subscribe, maybe retweet or recommend my videos to a friend if you think they would be interested. For the most part, I leave all of that to the end of the videos, since the stats tell me for the most part people don't watch all the way through anyway, and I don't really like being annoying and pestering, but I might start moving it up to the front of more videos in order to try to encourage that interaction with the video so the YouTube algorithm does notice me more. Over on Twitter, I have 598 followers and I'm following 603 accounts. Twitter this month has been pretty funny because I've been hovering anywhere between like 580 followers and 630. I think I've gotten a lot of unfollows from, I don't really think they're particularly political posts, but yeah, I post some political things. I certainly have opinions outside of Disney, and occasionally those pop up on my Twitter. Over on Instagram, I'm following 221 accounts and I have 119 followers. I'm still not very active on Instagram. I'm still working on it. I think it's something I'll probably be working on quote unquote, for the rest of my life, maybe. Even over on my personal private Instagram, I don't hang out there very much, if we're being honest. But yeah, social media is going good. And if you want to interact with me outside of YouTube, you can find me over on Twitter and Instagram at PixieDustPhD. I'm also toying with the idea of a Twitch channel. I would be doing that in collaboration with another person. I don't want to spoil anything because we're still really in the early stages of that idea. But in theory, you may be able to find me on Twitch at PixieDustPhD as well. Let me know what you would think about sort of a talk show with me and another person or several other people over on Twitch. Like I said, the concept is in the early phases, but it's definitely something I am interested in. For the most part, this channel on YouTube is pretty informational, and of course I do insert my opinion now and again, but I try to keep my opinion out on purpose, actually. I view my videos as informational, and that means for me that I want you to hear the information and judge it for yourself. So I try not to insert my opinion too much on most of the videos. Twitch would be pretty different, I think. I think we would potentially even just talk about Disney news and some other topics that are pretty opinion based. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, it's early in development, but if you have any feedback for this super early idea, definitely let me know in the comments down below or over on Twitter or Instagram. All in all, I would say the stats are encouraging though, in that I can just post more or less once a week, and that will be fine for the channel in the long term. I was really worried that my stats would tank and be, half what they were last month or even less. It looks like that's not the case though. So at least for my enjoyment of this hobby and also just realistically for me to be able to continue this for the long term, I think once a week is going a lot better for me. And so I'm probably going to stick to that. I am posting Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Walt Disney World time zone. If that super doesn't work for you and you are a subscriber, you're watching this video, you watch most of my videos, let me know what time you think would be better for you. As always, I am very interested to hear your thoughts, so definitely know what you think about vlogging on vacations, how you feel about it. If you were me, would you buy a new $400-ish point and shoot camera, or would you favor a $700 or $800 vlogging camera? Do you think I really need either camera if we're being honest? Remember though that my phone really isn't an option for me. I'm not planning on getting a new phone anytime soon. I like to use phones until they die basically, so I think this one still has a while to go. And if you have any feedback about the video or audio quality of this video, since I'm trying something new, or any of the past videos, definitely feel free to let me know. Please do phrase them somewhat kindly though. I'm all about constructive criticism. That's great, but it does have to be constructive. And I think after watching this, you probably understand some of the limitations that maybe haven't been clear in the past. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. I really appreciate everyone who watches these videos and interacts on them. I know that they aren't the point of the channel. It's not Disney content, but for any of you out there who are thinking about being small creators or who are small creators, I just think it's a nice way to form a little bit of community. On Wednesday, we'll be back at it with that normal Disney content. We are going to be talking about Disney Vacation Club fixed weeks or guaranteed weeks. I think it's a really interesting topic, so I hope you're looking forward to that. I hope the rest of your day is super splendid, and we will see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.